If you know anything about the Create mod, you know that it's extremely helpful when you're looking to automate things like moving items, moving fluids, and a bunch of other stuff that a bunch of mod packs have to offer. And when I first started with the mod, I had no idea how to move items around, and it was pretty hard for me to find a video that had everything that you needed all in one place on how to move items, fluids, items through dimensions, and maybe even some moving of players here. But we'll get to that in a little bit. First, I want to introduce what we're doing. We are going over how to move items with the Create mod and how to move liquids with the Create mod. This is just the base Create mod. There is no add-ons here. There is no other mods. Most of these mechanics that I'm going to teach you today will apply to most other mods when it comes to working with inventories, when it comes to working with fluids. So you can most of the time take what I tell you here and bring it with you to other mod packs. Well, I think we can just get right into this, starting with items. Items are, the most important thing to move, and the default way to move items is with the mechanical belt. If you don't know how to craft the mechanical belt, well, that's not what I'm here to teach you. But anyway, you can get mechanical belts, you can get shafts, you can get cogs and power it, which if you have no idea how to do any of this, I have two other videos that I can put in the little corner right now or in the description that will teach you how to do the basics of stress units, stress capacity, and all those basic things. So I'm going to assume that you at least know that for this video. So here we have just a basic belt. You can throw an item on it and it will move the item to the other side, throw the item off, and you can pick it up. The faster that this is spinning, the faster the items will move. See, you make this go faster, and the item goes faster. Now, that's cool and all, but you want to string that with other things. So here we have a funnel and we have an inventory. This chest doesn't really need to be a chest. It can be any sort of inventory. It could be a vault, it could be a barrel, you name it. Now, the way that these funnels work is you can put them on the end and they will just act as a interface that the items can go through into the inventory. Nice and simple. There are more advanced versions of the funnel. This is the andesite one. There's the brass one, but that one has more advanced features that I'm not really going to get into in this video, maybe in a separate one. Now, once you have this understood, you understand that you can pass items into inventories. You're probably going to want to pass items vertically. And this is where I got tripped up the first time I was playing through this mod. Vertically moving items with belts, you can do it, but it's kind of inefficient. The only way for a belt to be vertical is if the horizontal distance that it's moving is the exact same as the vertical distance. So this is going 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks, and it's also going up 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. That's the only way you can connect a belt between two shafts if you want vertical movement. But without this right here, you put your belt up here and then you throw your items on, your items are going up, and then they just get stuck because this belt isn't moving. And I had the hardest time trying to figure out a quick and simple, efficient way to power my belts like this. And the fastest way that I found was to just put another small belt like this right on the edge so that it's powered both sets, and there you go. There are more ways to move items vertically though. You can move items with this fan here. I'm assuming you know what chutes are. I think we covered them in one of my earlier videos. It's been a while. But so you have a fan down here. The fan is being powered with something directly underneath. See that it's being powered. And you can pass items in through the side. It's a funnel like this. You could just have a belt leading into it and you can pass items in and the items will get shot up to the top. Just like that. Nice and simple. The fan needs to be blowing upward though. If the fan is facing the wrong way, this will only, you see how it says move items downward? It's not going to work. You need to make sure that the fan is facing and blowing the right way, moving items upward. That's what we want to see. But you can use the fan sucking mechanic if you're going to suck items upward. So this fan here is sucking rather than blowing. And it says it moves items upward as well. You see that? And you can also put funnels on the outside of all of these chutes to extract the items wherever you need them. So you could have an elevator that goes up, and maybe you're advanced and you know how to use the brass funnels. You could use a filter right here, and you could have an elevator that has different levels, and it uses, I don't know, different items that come out of here at different intervals. But these fans are not infinite. They do have a limit. I'm not sure what that limit is, but this was just a demonstration. Maybe you can test it and let me know. That's moving items vertically. Now, there are alternate ways to move items horizontally as well. Right here, we have a little setup here. This is my favorite way to move items, but I'm gonna be impartial here and just show you how it works. So we have a belt, you throw something on the belt and it gets over to this weighted ejector. And the weighted ejector launches the item. It's a really fun way to move items. It looks cool. It's a lot of fun. I'm going to show you how to set it up because it confused me the first time that I had to set it up. So you have the weighted ejector in your hand. You go and you shift right click and you see how it says target selected. That's what you want to see, a yellow square. And wherever we put the green square is where the weighted ejector is going to go. See? Right there. All it needs to be is powered. and we can launch our items from here to the square that we selected. How can we use this though? Right here's a little demonstration. Let's say you have a belt that's going in to this item weighted ejector right here. You put the item on it, it launches it, and maybe it launches it right into an inventory and it moves it downward. The reason I set up 4 of these is to show you how you can string them together, because if you make one of them the target like this for another one, it'll just land right on top right here and you can launch them in between. And there's another feature which I just showed you. You, the player, can use these as well to move around. You do take a little bit of fall damage, but it's not horrible. I have a really old video where I made a bridge out of these, and the bridge is just straight up weighted ejectors at max push distance. And I just run down it and it just launches me like 100, 200 blocks. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We will probably have a train video coming in the future where I explain all the basics of trains. Just wait for that. Okay, now we're on to the most advanced item transportation. It's definitely the most expensive, the mechanical arm. Not very cheap. It requires a precision mechanism, and these things are kind of hard to make, but they're pretty easy to set up. Let me show you how to do it. So you're going to have an input and you're going to have an output, and you want to take your arm. It's pretty similar to the mechanical the weighted ejector. You want to select a take location, and you're going to want to set a deposit location, but you double click right with the shift to set the deposit. You see it'll alternate between. So once you place this, it has its take location, it has its deposit location, and we power it and we put something on here, and slowly but surely, because this is moving kind of slow, it will take it and deposit it on the other side. Just like that. Perfect. That's how to set up that. And with this, there are a few things that you need to know. Let's say you put this here, and the visual of the arm isn't actually reaching this depot up here, but the item is still going up there. So just know that it can go a little bit farther than you think it would. Now, I think that's all the basics for items, and I will show you how to string it all together with that portal at the very end. But before we get to that, we need to cover the basics of fluids, because fluids are the next most important thing here. Now, the issue with fluids is when you have a large mod pack, you're most likely going to have a bunch of different fluids, like different chemicals, different types of lava. You might even have one that adds experience as a fluid, and you're going to need to know how to move that around. The basic movement block of that is these pipes. Pipes have an input and an output, or you could say they just have two sides, two connecting sides like this. And if you click on a pipe or you right click on it with your wrench, you can make it clear to where you can see what it is, and so that it can't connect sideways to other pipes. It's like if we have this, they'll connect, but when they're clear, they won't connect. That's just interesting and important for you to know for later on if you try to get into more advanced piping where you're running pipes next to each other. I'll show you like right over there in a second. But before we get to that, we need to go over the second most basic mechanic, the tanks. So this is a fluid container. It is made from the fluid tanks, and it's a multi-block structure that can be up to a 3x3. And it will just lock in like that. And if you want to place more, you can put it on top like this, and it'll just build. And these are the storage containers for your fluids. You see on the side, it says 8,000, or it says a certain amount. Over here, we have one that says 64,000 MB. Now, one bucket equals 1,000 millibuckets. That's what the MB stands for. So you could put 64 buckets worth of water in this tank if you wanted. Now, how would you get the water into that tank? Here is the most basic setup of moving fluids that I think you will run into. When you are mixing something, you will need a fluid to go into the basin or out of the basin. Let's say you're making a potion. You want to take that potion out. I'll show you how to filter the potion out, but let's just say it's water. Let's say you're just mixing water and dirt to make mud, I think. And you want to take the water out. You're done using the water, but you don't want to get rid of the water. So you have your water in here. Let me break this. And you don't know how to get it out. So you decide you're going to move some fluids around with the pipes. So you have a pipe here, and we have the mechanical pump right here. Now the mechanical pump is very important for this, but it's not too expensive either. You just need a fluid pipe and a cog, and you put them in the crafting menu, and it just basically adds a cog to the pipe. This is pretty simple. I'm assuming most of you understand how this works. You just attach a power source to this, you spin it, and it acts as a pusher. So it pushes in the direction of the arrow here, and it will push it towards the nearest tank or just straight out the end of the pipe. Pretty simple, pretty easy. Let's say you want to put fluid in. All you got to do is just turn it around the other way to where the arrow is going into this, and it's filling it with water. Nice and simple. This is what I demonstrated right here. Pretty simple. The fluid tank goes into the basin, and you're happy. Now, these fluid tanks have different layers, and it does not really matter which layer you connect to as long as this is touching the tank. Here, I'm demonstrating how to do vertical stuff. You just need a mechanical pump pushing upwards, and that mechanical pump pushes up into this tank. Okay, so what I'm about to do here is I'm about to click on the tank with the water bucket. You cannot do this in survival. This is a creative only thing. I put water in here, and the water gets sucked up into this tank up here. So remember that. You can't put water in your tanks by clicking on it. Anyway, now we're gonna get on to filtering. So what I was talking about earlier is potions. Now you might have a potion, let's say night vision. You're making night vision in a basin, but you want to take the night vision potion out and not take out the awkward potion. For this example, we'll use water as awkward potion. So we have all these potions, they're mixed in here together in the basin. We got the night vision, we got the water mixed in there together. We could probably add enough to where it's equal parts, and these basins can only hold 2,000 millibuckets. To take out these fluids, we have to connect pipes, or we have to connect these smart fluid pipes. And these smart fluid pipes are a pain to place. They do not place the way that you think they would, but once you get them placed connected like this, and you have the picture facing in the direction of the block that you want to pull from. So let's say you have a basin right here. This setup is not going to filter out the liquid. You want it to be facing this way. And then you click on the little icon here with the item that you want to be filtered out. For water bucket goes right there. So this will filter out water. And it's pretty simple. All you got to do is power this right here, because we've already explained how the pumps work. It's pumping out each of its liquids, and they're filtered. Water in this one, night vision in this one. And remember when I told you about how to make the pipes clear? Right here is an instance of where we want the pipes to be clear, because if they're not, they'll connect like that, because we want just water and just night vision. All right, one more thing before we get to a example on how to set this all up. The last thing I want to cover is the spouts and item drains. We'll start with the item drains because, you know, they're pretty easy to understand, and they implement a lot of the belt stuff we learned earlier. So let's say you're passing a bucket or a bottle or some item that contains a liquid. You're passing it along the belt. You put it here and it goes on the item drain, and it gets drained and you get the item back. Now this liquid will be pumped out through here and it will go into this storage container. So you can do that with anything. It will work with potions. Let's do it with a potion of night vision. Hold on. We have our potion of night vision. We're going to throw it here. It's going to get drained into there. We pick up our glass bottle, and now I'm going to show you how the spouts work. Spouts are for putting items, or putting liquids back into items. The opposite of what item drains do. It requires a little bit more setup, and you need to use a depot, and you need to have the spout above it. But once you have that setup, you can just pump your liquid straight into the side of the spout, and it will automatically fill the container. Just like that. And now you have your night vision potion again. And this is empty. We used up all our potion. And that's pretty simple, right? But now how would I use all of this knowledge that I've gained to make some sort of contraption? And the most basic thing I can think of is a lava filling station in the nether that passes the lava to the overworld. Now we're going to go into the nether to start this one, and we'll come back out to the overworld to start explaining it. But we have one more block we need to explain for this. I think this is the last of the fluid blocks, and it is a hose pulley. Now these are a little bit more complicated because a lot of servers and stuff will have different configurations on what counts as a bottomless supply, but I'll get into that in a second. So you have a hose pulley, right? You place it down over a lava lake like this. There we go. One side has a side for putting the kinetic energy in, and another side has for the fluid output. So you can connect pipes to here. You want to connect a pump on this side so that you make sure the liquid's actually being pumped out. But the way that you get this to go down to the lava, you connect a power source connected to it spinning a certain direction. So you see that one spinning, and as it's spinning, this thing's going down. We can make it faster so that it can touch the bottom faster. There we go, just like that. And now if we connect this to here, we connect this here. We want to put that facing that way, the correct way. And we put this here, and we're powering this, so it should say bottomless supply. Yep, the targeted body of fluid is considered infinite. Now, both of these are pushing lava into this block right here. But if I remove this block, it will go into the tank. So we should see lava going into the tank. Yes. Okay, I need to catch that bucket on its way back. Hold on, we'll put, oh shoot. Okay, anyway, can I catch the bucket? Yes, I can. We'll need that later. So we have our lava in a container here. We have our spout here, and we have a pipe going around in circles for some reason. But remember what I told you to do. You put a pipe, or not a pipe, a pump here powering or pushing into the spout, and the spout needs to be over a depot or some way that the item can be held. It will automatically detect when an item can be filled with the liquid here. You see how that pipe cannot be filled with the liquid, so it passes by. But if we put a bucket there, it'll pick up the bucket and it will fill it with lava. I will do that in a second, but we'll go to the overworld and show the overworld side of this. It's gonna go along here. You know, the bucket's gonna follow here, and the bucket will be spat into this portal, and it will come out right here onto this line. And we know how to move items. We move items, and then it will go to the drain that we talked about earlier. Once it goes on the drain, it will drain all of its lava into this container, and then it will go back on the belt. Go along the belt, go into the portal, and it will be spat out onto this line, and this line will take it right back here. Okay, so now I'm going to show you. We're going to do a little demonstration. So let's say we go in here, we put our buckets on the stream. They're getting filled. They're getting filled. They're going through the portal. We're going through the portal, and there it goes through. It puts its lava off into this drain, and it goes back. And since this infinite lava source will always be filling up this container, we will never run out of lava. And you can transport it through the dimensions. You could do different liquids. Maybe if your nether has advanced something in there, you can transport different liquids out of your nether. But there you go. That is the basics to item movement, item transportation, and the fluid movement, fluid transportation. Just the basics. I can show you more advanced stuff later on if this is something that you guys want again. And I showed you how to set up a automatic lava filling station in your nether that transports it to the overworld. I hope this was very helpful. I hope this was very informative. And if you haven't seen the other 2 videos, go check them out. And then this one will make a lot more sense. But thank you for sticking around for this video. I hope you're enjoying your holiday season, and I'll see you guys more often this next month. I'm planning on a lot more videos for you, and channel members will be a thing in a few weeks. Just a heads up in case any of you care. Thanks again for all of you who play on the server. Thanks again for Central Hosting for hosting it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.